You have to admit to yourself that the second that there's more significant physical intimacy, that you start to maybe expect a little bit more, or you start to feel much more emotionally exposed, then that could be telling you that actually rushing that process isn't great for you. So is it the 3-date rule? Is it when it becomes official? Or is it on the first night because who cares? He shouldn't judge you anyway. If you're thinking about when you should first have sex with a guy, I'm not here to be Moses of dating and give you rules by which you should live by. Instead, how I want to help you is by hopefully giving you encouragement to make the best decisions for yourself. So my name is Hayley Quinn. I'm a dating coach and I've spent 10 years working with both men and women in the area of dating. And today I want to talk you through the whole when do you take the relationship to that next and physical level thing. Now, of course, my philosophy is I really don't believe that any of us has the power or the need to tell other people how they should live their lives. Everyone is different. For some people, physical intimacy is something they're going to want to be in a committed relationship to have. For other people, they value spontaneity, living in the moment, passion. And in fact, if anybody judges them for that, who are they to judge? But if you're a woman and you've heard a lot of dating advice around basically stringing it out with a guy, I want to spend some time unpicking that and in fact getting to a place where you feel like you can make a really good judgment about when to move the relationship forwards. So let's look at the logic here behind waiting before you have sex with someone. So we're going to go a little bit old-fashioned here, but I think the main logic is that by elongating the dating process, by keeping him investing in you, not hopefully money, but in terms of his time and emotional investment for a longer period of time, he's going to have time to establish an emotional connection to you so that he doesn't just use you for the sexual opportunity. Now, to state the obvious, this paints a pretty grim picture of men and their motivations, and I really don't think this is how 50% of the world's population thinks about things. However, I think there's actually a very different reason why it may be powerful for you to hang on until you're really, truly comfortable. Now, there are some people in the world who are, as I mentioned, are very comfortable having physical intimacy really early on in the relationship. They can have a night of passion, sling on their high heels the next day, shut the door and not care. And if that's you and you're happy with it, that's awesome. If, however, you would shut the door and then suddenly think, oh my God, what have I done? And be ridden with anxiety. Or if you have to admit to yourself that the second that there's more significant physical intimacy, that you start to maybe expect a little bit more, or you start to feel much more emotionally exposed, then that could be telling you that actually rushing that process isn't great for you. So whilst we might all want to be the female version of James Bond, who with the devil may care attitude, I think it's really important to recognize how you feel about that particular topic. And if you know that your emotions are really closely related to physical intimacy, then I think it's very important that you respect your own timeline for how you want to move things forward. Because I think it's not so much that we'd meet a guy, have sex with him, and then suddenly he'd change his opinion of you because you'd crossed that physical line. It's more about what it means to us for taking that next step forwards. So if you take that next step forwards and you know that that means that you're going to expect to see him again, that you believe that you're going to be on a track towards a relationship, that you don't expect that to be a one-off. You expect him even to do something as simple as send you a get home safely message. This is where we want to be a little bit cautious because when anything happens in the process of dating and we bring a big lot of expectations along with it, it can really set us up for disappointment. So if we went to one end of the spectrum and say you've had like the most awesomest date ever with a guy, it's the first guy in ages that you felt excited about, kind of get carried away in the moment, one thing leads to another, and the next minute you're shutting the front door, maybe carrying your high heels in your hand. Now, if that happens and you went that far with spending time with him and you pursued the adventure that far because you really liked him and you really expected this to blossom into something, and then it doesn't, quite easily you can rationalize that as you've done something wrong because you've given it up or you've had sex too quickly. Instead, I think what's probably happened here is that you formed expectations about what was going to happen very early on, and they just didn't match up with the reality of what time showed you that this man was able to offer. So the key here is really about slowing the dating process down, maybe until you've had clearer communication about what you both want, maybe until you've built more trust, maybe until you know him a bit better, to start to really sincerely make those judgment calls. Because it isn't about getting one guy's approval or what one person happens to think about us. Ultimately, it's about us retaining our motivation to keep the process of dating going until we meet someone super amazing and special. So if we build expectations very quickly, then act on them, and then those expectations are dashed, that is a pretty good way to ding our motivation levels. Instead, look to preserve your own values around dating and intimacy, and look to preserve your own motivation to keep the search going to meet one of the many amazing people there are out there for you. So if that means slowing things down a bit, that could be your best and really only good rationale to wait. If you've enjoyed the advice in this video, please head over to hayleyquinn.com/real love. I'm all about teaching women how they can learn to love dating, and also just to make decisions that are right for you and that aren't really about getting any man. If you've loved this video, I'd also really appreciate a like, a comment, a share, a send, and of course, if you're really going to treat me, a subscribe to my channel, where hopefully I've got loads more videos that could be helpful to you. See you soon.